Hello everyone, welcome to my first TouchDesigner tutorial, and also it will be my first tutorial on MOPs. And with this tutorial we will be doing this network together, and I think it will be 2 or 3 parts series, because I want to make sure that every small network that we will be building here, that I tell them in a way that why I made MOPs and why in TouchDesigner, and specific in the second part we will be talking more about, when we talk about in this side of this network, we will talk more about sound in TouchDesigner, what is what is the best thing about using and making music in TouchDesigner and using TouchDesigner to make sound. So let's start right away. Before we start, I just want to show you MOPs website. What is MOPs? This link you will find in the description, but the idea of the MOPs is it's a synthesizer synthesis toolkit that you can make sound design, music, or interactive sounds, anything that you want. And the idea of MOPs came from my classes that I'm giving in Labo Valencia to teach the sound synthesis to my students. I chose TouchDesigner to do it. And here in this link you will find the documentation, which I update almost daily. So if you click to getting started, you will see that MOPs is built with TDFM, which is an open source TouchDesigner operator family framework created by .simulate and Function Store. So huge shout out to them. And about how to install and everything, let's start. So I will just pause this. They have a new fresh TouchDesigner project. So if you download MOPs from my Patreon, you will have a zip file, which this is the what you will find in this zip file. So you can find the documentation in here as well, also the example though, which I will have a separate video about what is how they work, and a small install readme, a license notice, and also MOPs. So installing is pretty basic. We just need to drag and drop, and actually that's it. You don't need to do anything else. If you go through inside our project, and if I double click or open, MOPs is already installed. So let's start by creating our first network. So in this tutorial we will it will contain 3 parts. So we start with our first part, which start with a clock. So what's a clock? Very briefly, clock is series of pulses. So basically, if I put an null, you will see it just generates series of pulses that we can use that pulses to make sure that almost every operator that we will using today shares the same clock or shares the same time, right? So they have the same, or a better way to say it, they have the same BPM. And the good thing is BPM in this clock operator directly tied to BPM of the project. So if I need to change my BPM, my project tempo will change automatically as well. So this is cool because there are some operators that directly can take this as a data. So it's like one clock, we can make sure that everything is synced. Okay, so let's start by putting a step sequencer. So a step sequencer is a very basic control data generating tool, which means that it takes a clock as an input and it converts that clock input, and it has some steps that, as you can see, that some is on and some is off, which means that looking to that clock, it will generate pulses, but only when everything is on. So I put another null to show you that, you will see that right now it's only triggering, shooting one pulse every time it goes to 1. So if I add more, sometimes it will be faster because now it's here, then it's here. And in the future, I will have a better visualization on in which step are we in, so it will be easier to see. Okay. So step sequencer is pretty straightforward. It will help us to generate some melodies, and we will start by generating a melody. So there is small things, as you can see, like I have inlets and outlets here, which they have different functions, but you can always see them by hovering over. So this is just gate. When I use gate, it's always a trigger that goes between 0 and 1 and fast. And then there is CD out. It's not CV. I wanted to use CD because in general in modular world is we call it CV because it's control voltage. But the voltage term didn't make sense to me too much in this setting, because in TouchDesigner I think it's like control data made more sense. So I wanted to call it CD. And that CD out is the same as gate, but as you can see it has different steps. So if I put another null, that it, since they have exactly the same steps right now, it's almost the same. Gate is a little bit faster than CD, but the best thing about CD is not just 0 and 1, it's not just binary, it can output different sequence data directly. So this is like very useful because this is something that directly tied to our clock. So this is even like you don't do music with it, you can use a step sequencer and a clock, and then if you know the BPM of a song, you can just generate the same data directly from using a CV. And today we will use the CD out to generate melody, to generate a pitch. And when we start building kick, hi-hats, specifically for hi-hats, we will use the CD for a velocity, not pitch. So like you can use the same data for anything you want. Okay, I will just reset everything so we can continue. Okay, so I will continue by putting our first and most important thing, which is an oscillator. By the way, just very quickly, as you can see, we have different categories. One category is about audio, like the audio data, and we have the generators. As you can see, there are some pops related things as well, which it will be a future tutorial as well about them. And then I have anything about clocks, which is like this, or the control data, and then some effects, audio effects. Okay, so let's start by putting an oscillator. So an oscillator in MOPs is very basic because it's actually using the audio oscillator of TouchDesigner. So you will find here, which will, like as you can see, even the default ones are the same. With, of course, even if you're using the same thing, it has different inlets and outlets as well. And I want to start by having the bass frequency. I want to lower the octave. So in the future, I will put octave selector to here. So instead of doing this, which I divided it by 2, right? Sorry, by 4. So that it's the same pitch, but slower, so it's more bass. I know that we are not hearing anything right now, but we will get into that one. So actually, let's hear it. But before we hear it, I want to show you one more thing as well. Until this time, as you can see, almost every inlet and outlet has a red hue, and some has a white hue. I don't know, it's very visible. will help. It has a small white line and a red line. So this actually gives the information of information that you're inputting. Is it a control data or is the audio source? So white is for audio source and red is for audio data, control data, and it reflects with operators as well. So I think it's like, at least for me, it's like color coding like this makes everything a little bit easier. So I will put first amplitude, which if it's necessary that we can just play with the amplitude of here of the waveform directly, so that it won't hurt our ears directly because it will start. And then I will put an audio out. All right. Yes. Now I can just lower it down for now. But before we start everything to create, I want to start talking about an audio out. So this is very important with MOPs that I already wrote in a document as well, the documentation as well. But you need to have only one audio out, right? Because audio out is your final node in MOPs, and you choose your driver, where it be, and I need to choose, I think first you didn't hear because I should choose this one. So it goes to OBS as well. Okay, let's see if you are hearing it. All right. So this is, again, as I said, this is your main output. So you only need to have one audio out. We will talk about, if you need to have one audio out, how we can create like mixing, like a mixer, which I would have two different mixers, which we will talk in this tutorial. But this is the idea. And again, amplitude, which is a VCA, I still call it a VCA, but which is voltage control amplifier, but it's just for controlling this. Okay, so this is very basic. As you can see, we only have one sound going on right now. But what I want is to use this gate information, and using that gate information to actually make this bass gain to open and close like this, right? So that it creates some spaces in between, not just a drony one sound. So in order to do that, I can just simply use the gate in here, which right now it doesn't affect too much because it will, as you can see, it does, but it has two issues. The first issue is the sound is not a good sound, and the other thing is the FPS is lowered a lot, because this is how not right. Instead of using this gate, we need to use something called an envelope, which, if you are using TouchDesigner specific with chops, you know what an envelope is, because we have an envelope chop, and this is actually a simple envelope, uses that envelope chop. Takes a data, a trigger, and then shapes it, right? It's, instead of having a sudden, a very fast, let's put another null. So this was the gate, and with an envelope, we are having the same data, but we are shaping it, right? So it has the same timings as the gate, but now it has a more smoother down, smoother up. We can control everything from here. I can make it like 20, maybe a little bit shorter for now. I don't know, something like this. And instead of using this as a reference, which we can, it's perfectly fine, a traditional use. What I wanted to make, I wanted to create the idea of modular, right? Since this is like a modular synthesis, and in the modular synthesis we have patch base to connect modules between themselves. So here what I did is I created a patch bay. As you can see, it says an amplitude CD, so it will change the gain. So if I control this, plug it here, and then make the gain up, you can see right now I can shape it, right? shorter, longer, different curves. But I really like the exponential ones. Okay. So this is our first step, that we slowly start creating at least a rhythm of the melody, right? So right now what I want to do is I just want to put this CD out as an input to my VCO, right? So what is this? I will open this. So right now I have this randomize button. Now what it does, it generates different, let me just stop this. It generates different values, and these values are directly converted to frequencies here inside of the VCO. So it generates randomized melodies, right? If I randomize again. Okay, right now it's still like, I wouldn't say this is like very musical, right? It's very random frequencies, since I'm using randomize button as well, and it's any number between 0 and 1, so it's really hard to actually quantize them. That's why I have a MOP called Quantizer. So what Quantizer does, it takes the CD as an input, and then here I can quantize the incoming input, CD input, to any scale that I want. So for example, I can just simply use this, and then let's make it. Yeah. So at least right now what we have is a little bit more scale quantized, and like I would say maybe not, but like more musical. Instead of fully random, it's more quantized to a scale. So there are other things, as you can see right now. The one thing is, what I want is create a melody from here. Okay. For now we can work with it. But what I need now is, what I want to hear is, like, if I open the volume all the way up, like, it's very bitey, it's very sharp. I want to make it a little bit more smoother, right? So what I want to add is an important thing, which is a low pass filter. So what low pass filter does, it will filter out any frequencies above this frequency. And this is very cool, and this is something that I really like to use. I can use it to create movements like this. So a general approach might be putting an LFO and then putting a mat, right? Another mat, and then of course an up. And then I can, let me stop this, I can select from the range that I want to move it, and I can just simply drag and drop, but I need to find the right frequency, blah blah. So this is how I would do normally, but instead of this I created an LFO. It's the same thing, it uses the TouchDesigner LFO, but the main difference is it has a clock sync, which is directly synced with the clock. Right now it's a little bit too fast, so I can just simply divide it to like an 8 or maybe 4, maybe if it is too slow. And instead of having a mat, what I did is I just make an input in here, and inside of the low pass filter, all of the necessary calculation is being made. So if I do this, and I will open this again. It will now go down as well. Right, so it automatically maps the -1 and 1, because normally if you want to see, this is still going between 1 and -1, but it automatically maps. And if you want to change how much it affects, here we have the CV amount. So I can use, for example, a low amount of this, a little bit of resonance, and maybe okay. Okay. I need one more thing. I don't need it, but I really like to put, because right now everything is very dry, I just want to put a stereo delay. And right now it's not synced, so I just want to sync it to the clock. And then maybe changing the feedback a little bit much, and then I will make the drive at low. So it adds a space, right? Right now I can use here not the VCA, and I will make sure that VCA is 1. Okay, when I want to, because it's not cool to hear all the time the same thing. I know. Okay, so it's almost the first part is almost over. There are some things that I want to show, because like the first thing that I hear right now, it's very boring. It's the same melody on over and over again. It has the same movement, so I can create some things, right? Like I don't know, like for example, the one thing that I want to show in the step sequencer, we have a step index. So that step index will give me the index, a number of the step, like which step we are in, right? So I can use this by, for example, putting a logic, and that logic will automatically be 0 when it is 0, and then 1 when it is not 0, right? So it's basically right now this becomes an information for me to say that okay, every time it goes back, it triggers, right? So, and I can use another null. And I can use this information right now. For example, to every time it goes back, I can have this randomize. So it's more interesting, right? It generates a little bit new melodies, and also I can create a little bit of randomness in here as well, maybe. Or instead of me doing this randomness, I can actually use the direction, and the direction of the sequencer can be random as well. Yes. So right now it's more interesting because now it's randomly selects between the gates and randomly selects within the steps. So maybe now I don't need this because it's already random, and it will randomly select between the sequences. And if I don't like this melodic sequence, I can just simply press random to. I can use this randomize button now to curate the note pool that I want to use in my melody. And one last thing that I want to do, again, I still find it really boring, so I will make it a little bit lower it down as well. I still find it a little bit boring, so what I want to do is, as you can see right now, the LFO is always the same. what I can do is, for example, so instead of an LFO, maybe I can use this envelope here. So it's more plucky. This is cool as well, but I really like the LFO too. So I have something for it, which is called our first mixer. Today I said I have two mixer, but I have 2 audio mixer and 1 control data mixer. So a control data mixer will mix up to 4 incoming data, and you can either take the sum of it or the average. But as you can see right now, instead of just an envelope or just an LFO, it's both at the same time, so I can use this. Now everything is more interesting. Okay, so before we continue, I just want to show you like making this melody a little bit more, giving it a little bit more structure instead of a random. So it will be still random, but like maybe if we can just like go back to the root node every now and then. So maybe like somewhere around here, maybe like something like this, and then I don't know. So yeah, right now it's still random, but it always goes to root node as well, you know, like it has a little bit of more structure. Okay, let's build our second network right now. So let's see. Okay, I want to start with the second with the kick. So I will start with having the same step sequencer, this is the kick pattern that I want actually, and let's put a kick. Kick is a kick generator. It has lots bunch of different things, but we will talk in a bit. So let me pause this, and if I take the gate out and then put to trigger input, I will have a kick triggered. So in order to hear it directly, what we can do is we can put it to audio out. If we have a kick. Okay. So first thing is, as I said, we need to have one audio out. And in order to hear them at the same time, hear them together, what we will need is a mixer. And it's a 4-channel mixer. So I can use the first input for the first one, and the second input as the second one. And then I can use this mixer to mix in between. And if I press play, now we are hearing both together. And the good thing about the mixer, the first thing, I will just make it a little bit louder. And then I can have individually change, like only hear this, or mute this, or I don't know, like just hear the kick by soloing it, or I can pan it. So this is a full-on mixer that I can use to actually mix as well, which we will use in the third part of this video, specifically the mute buttons, to use this mixer as a performer, to mute something, open up, and so on and so on. So the kick is very straightforward. I will simply mute the first channel so we only hear the kick. Okay. So basically, kick is a kick generator which has a randomize button. I think it's very important to click randomize and then explore different things. But let's start from here. Basically, what I want is like a 50, and then let me just actually make everything. These are not important, not transient. Let's make the drive so I teach you a little bit about the kick. So the kick will take the trigger input, the gate input as a trigger, and it will just run a kick. A sine wave, actually, not a kick. It's just a sine wave with a very fast pitch going up and down. So like this is that, right? So if you don't have this, this is just a sine wave. And if we have a pitch amount, it will like how much it goes up, right? It makes this like it goes and pew, pow, pow, like every time. This is the pitch. Discard that. Okay, but this is the idea. And the decay is how fast this pitch goes back, as you can hear it. So this is for like creating a punch, right? I can have something like this. And amp decay is the general how long your kick is. So if you want like a short kick, then this is your thing. And wavetable positions we will talk in a bit. And then the transient is just to add like a small click to create a punch more. So I don't know if you can hear, it's a very small addition, just adds a small thing. Okay, but what I want to show you is the wavetable, because with wavetable we can create really cool kicks. Because I don't know if you know the concept of wavetable, but we will talk in the future videos as well. I mean like in the part of this video, because we will use wavetables. Yeah, okay, even now this is cool, right? So like I have different banks, or I can add different operations to add the sine wave and the wavetable together to create different kinds of kicks. But what I want to create right now, I will just make the tune to 55. Why 55? Because I want it to be tuned as this one, since this is like 110, then like divided by 2 is 55, and then we can have a pitch amount of 2 and very short one, something like that, exponential, a short kick, maybe a linear, yeah, so maybe yes, something like this. And then we can use the basic one and the add, and then I can search for something like here is okay. It's like it's okay. I mean, it's a basic kick. Maybe yeah, we can add something. And yeah, we can use this for now as our main kick. And if you want to sculpt later, you can just go back and sculpt a little bit. But right now this is more than enough. So if we open so they are the same right now, they're playing at the same time. And there is an important concept, it's called sidechaining, and it's really cool way to create a pumping effect, creating some space for the kick. It really depends on which kind of genre that you are doing, but the genre that I'm generally like, I don't want to say techno, because I think it's a type of techno. I don't know what I'm doing, like tribal techno, primal things with my free time. But I don't want to say specific techno, but I use lots of kicks and melodies and sidechaining. So sidechaining is, I have a sidechain. Where is it? Sidechain, right? Yes, here. So basically what the sidechain dial does, it takes a gate in to the CD inputs. As you can see, it's red goes to the red. This is the white one, which is, if you hover over, it's just an audio in. So what it does, it will lower the volume, the amplitude of the incoming audio, and it opens up a little space to the kick. So instead of this melody going directly to the mixer, it can go inside the sidechain and then go out. So it will be more audible if I mute the kick. And let's make the depth. Now it's very, you can hear this like pumping effect. Right now it's too much. And we can maybe have a faster release somewhere around here and not so good, so that, and then a little bit more punchy kick. Okay. And then maybe just some harmonics. All right, the kick is on. So it was very straightforward. Again, as I said, like I just want to copy and paste, so I don't want to change this. But if you really want, you can just keep the wavetable and randomize. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool, actually. Maybe I can use this one as well, but right now I will just use this. Yeah. Yeah, but like randomize button does a lot. So one thing as well, I just want to, if we solo the kick, right now it's good, but it has lots of harmonic, upper harmonics, which is okay, but I want to filter them out a little bit because it gives this more like warm feel, but I can use a low pass filter. Yeah. A little bit filter it out, and I can use the same data, the same idea of here. I can create another envelope, for example, like a first one, to just open it, yeah, to give it a little bit more punch. So like every time the kick hits, in the first hit, it just opens up the filter, and then very fast goes down. So it adds to the punch of the kick as well. So now if we open it, okay. All right, maybe this can be a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, what else? A hi-hat. So for an hi-hat, I can have another sequence, right? From the same clock, another sequence with, I want it to hit in every step. So I do like, so I generate this, and maybe we can come back to here later as well to decide the thing. Okay, so. For hi-hat, I have a snare and hi-hat. Right now they are together. Maybe in the future I will divide them, because sometimes it's confusing, because this is for snare, this is for snare, and this is for hi-hat, this is for hi-hat, and this is for snare, and this is for hi-hat. So the same thing, it has different pages, but again, in the future maybe I might change. But what I want right now, the gate output to the trigger input, so it just triggers a hi-hat directly. I can use the hi-hat out to the mixer, and if I click, okay, right now it works well. Maybe if I solo it a little bit, the third channel. So let's hear it. We have in the hi-hat a decay. So even this, you know, like this kind of a small randomization can go well. We can check that later. Maybe we can put a small randomization, you know, like this, like open and close hi-hat. And then if you want to sculpt, maybe a little bit cut off, a little bit like high, yeah, high hi-hat. Okay, like around here, I think it's better. Okay, so it is hi-hat part is actually very straightforward, very easy. So the only thing that we need is life. Right now the hi-hat is like very robotic, is everything is the same. That's why we have the CD steps, right? We can use it directly as the velocity input here. So what it will do, it will act like a volume operator. So I can like maybe a little bit of run like humanization, you know, like it just creates small. I don't want to make it random because it's still, I want it in a very specific range. And now if we hear everything together, it's okay. The only thing that I will need is maybe the same sidechain. I can just copy and paste it and then use the hi-hat instead of the other input. And then, yes, now it's more groovy. Maybe it's too much for hi-hat. Yes, right now it's better. Okay, so let's conclude this section as well, and let's continue with I will see you in the next part, which will be creating the drones from wavetables, and I will talk with some important concepts. So I think it will take a little bit more time, so you know, not to take your time too much, I'm planning to divide everything. So maybe see you in the next video.